Being a director, when you're dealing with actors, is like nurturing energy. It's a feminine energy towards my actors. It's a masculine energy towards like getting stuff done. What you measure will dictate your success. So just make sure that you're measuring for the right thing.
It's Street Blackout. It's not Street Blackout. I'm wondering if you have a U and T. Hello, New York Reelers. How are you doing? Welcome to this New York Reel episode. Today, my guest is a 4-time Daytime Emmy Award winning actor, writer, director, producer, Jeremy Redleaf. You'll be very familiar with his voice as well because you have heard his voice on MTV, Sesame Street, and various commercials. Jeremy is a guest that I can really relate to because we both do many different things in the art. This is also a very exciting week for Jeremy because his film Street Blackout is opening in New York City. So Street Blackout is about this technology-obsessed couple, how they were forced to examine their own relationship during Hurricane Sandy's blackout. So make sure you don't miss it. This is playing at Village East Cinemas this weekend in New York City. How exciting. Welcome again to New York Reel. Enjoy my episode with Jeremy Redleaf.
Thank you for doing the tree pose.
This is New York Reel. I'm Olive. Today my guest is Emmy Award winning Jeremy of all trades, Jeremy Redleaf.
That's me.
Yes. So I would love to talk about your new film, Street Blackout. I want to talk about your voice on Sesame Street and MTV and Odd Job Nation, the website you started, as well as the web series that was awarded, and everything in your life that's new. And I'm so lucky to have you today.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you. Welcome to New York Reel.
Thanks. I don't think we have time for everything.
Oh.
Because I've been living for 31 years, but we'll get to the good parts.
Let's get to the most current, most updated part.
All right.
So you are an actor, writer, producer, director. I don't know what order you prefer, but lately, I'm sure you're playing a big role in producing and writing and starring in Street Blackout.
Yeah, so Street Blackout comes out later this month, late April, in select cities. It's about a technology obsessed couple that has to figure out their relationship during a blackout, and analog shenanigans ensue, and it's such a fun New York movie. A lot of great comedians in it: Janine Garofalo, John Hodgman, Sashir Zamata from SNL, Jordan Carlos from The Nightly Show, and it's a movie that you'll leave happy.
Whoa, I love that. So New York, we can definitely see it.
Yeah, it'll be.
What cities is it playing?
We're still locking down the cities, but it'll definitely be in New York at the Village East Cinemas on 2nd Avenue, that great old theater, right in the neighborhood that we shot the movie in, which is really cool. And it'll be in Boston, and hopefully Austin, and hopefully San Fran, and Portland, and hopefully LA. But we're still locking it down. Yeah. Okay. Look in the show notes. Hopefully it'll be
link down below. On the 29th, right?
April 29th.
Okay. So what gave you the idea to have a story during the blackout? Did you think about that during was it a Sandy?
Yeah,
blackout?
So it's the Hurricane Sandy blackout. I was on the last block of the blackout area, so 39th Street. So like if I looked to my right, I saw like a bustling metropolis, and if I looked to my left, I saw this like desolate wasteland.
No way.
But in that desolate wasteland, people were really coming together. I saw a community forming, and it was the first time in New York I saw people it was the first time I talked to my neighbors. Turns out I had great neighbors. I just didn't know about them. And I made the movie with a comedian named Negin Farsad, and she also had her a crazy experience during the blackout where she was about to break up with a guy, and then they fell back in love. And it was just
story.
So it was just like this, and she lives on 3rd Street, so we don't have the biggest imaginations, but we try.
So you both wrote it together?
We co-wrote it together, we co-directed it together, and then we co-starred in it together. So all the co's.
That's beautiful. And so I watched the trailer, and it's so sweet. And I can't wait to watch it. It feels like it has funny in it, romance, and all the tech-savvy people, all the problems we run into, like without our iPhone, what do we do?
Yeah. Hopefully it's got something for everybody.
Yeah, totally will. When did you start writing?
I started writing because I was an actor in my 20s and I wanted to work more than I was working. And so I just saw that as the way to do that. And so I started making things on the web, and that really took off. And then people started calling me a writer, and I was like, guys, I don't think I'm a writer. I'm just sort of like winging it because I don't know anyone else that can write this. But eventually, but then I won like a best writing award at a festival, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm a writer now.
And that was for
Odd Jobs, yeah. So yeah, but writing is such a weird process, and I still have all the resistance and the struggles that people talk about, and it's the hardest thing I do.
So I heard I went to this workshop, and the writers from The Americans, they the two writers, they each shared something really valuable. One person said, if you come up with ideas, the first 30 ideas are ideas that are from other people. So you gotta keep writing, and then the 31st might be your own idea for real. And do you get writer's block? Some people wait for inspiration. Some people just just write, just put one word after another. Yeah,
I'm a believer in showing up, and hopefully the writing gods join you. But either way, you show up.
The writing
people,
gods.
Yeah, the muses, like the muses will join you, and they tend to join the people that show up all the time to write. And so I try to write through. I'm writing a script right now that I didn't know the answer. I got some notes that there were like some core problems, and I didn't know how to solve them, and I wrote through it. I was like, well, I'm just gonna write a new draft, and it might not be the right draft, but that's all I can do right now. And in doing that, I figured out what needed to happen in the next draft.
Wow. So you just keep doing, and then when you encounter problems, you just like push through.
Yeah. Well, the core thing underlying this is like people don't want to feel like they suck, or I don't want to feel like I suck. So if I'm willing to suck, I can let it be bad and then make it better. I think a lot of the avoidance has to do with like the shame people feel when they don't. There's a gap between the project and their taste, and so if you're willing to dance with it being not good yet, and knowing that it's just part of the process, you're a lot better off.
That reminded me of a quote of, is it Ira Glass?
Ira Glass's quote, yeah. Maybe I like let it seep into my consciousness.
Yeah, because we have the good taste to begin with, but
yeah.
we know that we're not there yet, and most people give up when
That's
they're
right.
not there
I
yet.
totally just stole an Ira Glass. Shit.
No, that's...
I love you, Ira. You're in my head.
No, we made it, ours.
We made it around,
live
yeah.
it.
I changed a couple of words in my subconscious.
Yeah, so how are you as a director on set? Am I going to be afraid of you if you're directing me?
Good question. No, I really love the way Jill Soloway runs the Transparent set, and I'm really trying to. It's so inspiring to me, and I'm really trying to lean into that, which is that being a director is when you're dealing with actors is like nurturing energy. Like it's sort of feminine energy, and they need to feel safe. Even if it's a comedy, like you still have to feel safe. Sometimes you have to feel more safe for comedy. It has to be
Vulnerable.
okay to fail. Yeah. So it's a feminine energy towards my actors. It's a masculine energy towards like getting stuff done, and saying no to people. It's both, but I really do try to separate the energies, and then sometimes it's just like sort of like a elderly energy of just like being kind to people and complimenting people, and then sometimes it's like a sort of like detachment, like a there's definitely like you have to be a child, but sometimes you have to just sort of like contextualize everything and step back and be able to zoom out. So a lot of different energies that go into directing. That's why I love it, is because it really activates all the different weird parts of me.
And do you watch your playback?
Yeah, I do. If I'm not sure, but with indie film, like you usually don't have time. So
true. How long did it take to shoot the whole thing?
we shot the movie in 19 days, which it's about average for an indie film. Some films, it's usually between like 10 and 19 days, but always under the gun, always 4 hours behind schedule, and we have to get out of this location immediately. Kind of vibe.
Wow. So 19 days. Do you remember like filming in the middle, like, when you look back, like, do you think that the whole thing just like to you it feels shorter or longer? Did it feel like it's been like months? Does it feel like, oh my god, we just started last week?
No, it's been a while since we've shot it, just because the process of releasing a film takes so much time.
Yeah.
The shoot itself was the hardest thing I've ever done. It was like it really is like going to a war.
Wow.
I would just like collapse in the bed and
Do you get any sleep?
I got a little bit of sleep, but it was just like the best thing about it was really an exercise in letting go, because there was all this time. We wrote the script over a year and we talked about it for so much, and then we would get in. We're in the trenches, and like it doesn't go the way we thought it was going to go. Mm-hmm. But and if you get disappointed, like you're out of it for the rest of the day. There's no time to get disappointed, so you just have to let go and move on. So it was just like I got to this like zen place of I let go of all expectations and just keep going. Like there's no time to get stuck in this, and I'd like to incorporate that into my regular life a little more.
Wow. So but by letting go, you trust your preparation, you trust the process, and your co-star and your co-director.
Yeah, you have to.
And a lot of it is preparing and showing up.
Yes, and just being and like the improv philosophy of like there are no mistakes, just like everything can be usable and everything is an opportunity, and so if you go in like with that attitude, you're better off.
Are you and your co-star both into improv?
Yeah, we tried to leave room on set for people to add their own, because you write a character and it's you want to believe it's three-dimensional, but it's not. You need an actor to bring something to it, and so if you need that and you're not willing to like give that person voice, I feel like you're almost handicapping the character a little bit. So yeah, we really encouraged actors to bring their own thing to it, and some of the of course like 3 of the best lines in the movie were just like inspiration and improv from somebody in the moment. So yeah.
How was the casting process like? Were you there the whole time, and did you cast people that you knew? Did you reach out to people that you hope would be interested?
Yeah, a little of both. Nagina's done a couple of films before, so she had some relationships with some comedians, so she was able to ask Janine Garofalo, and we had a casting director who reached out to some other people, some of the bigger names in the film, and then it was a great opportunity to hire some of my friends that I think are super talented.
Yes.
It feels so good to be able to do that, even if you're paying them, scale. It's still a great feeling, and then there was one character we had to audition for, which is this little 15-year-old street hustler named Chuck, who during the blackout he delivers notes between the two main characters, and like I just didn't know any 15-year-old actors, which is probably a good thing.
Casting notes.
Just like a 15-year-old in a 40-year-old's body, just like a street hustler who's like just like a New York. He's just like a New York kid. We wanted someone diverse, and he just like had to be able to hold his own with adults, and like he had this like he just runs his business during the blackout. But the process with him was really hard, because a lot of the kids in New York are just like very show busy or broad, like very theatrical.
Yeah.
We need someone that was very real.
Yes.
Like New York real.
Mm-hmm.
And so we watched so many tapes, and he was the kid we found, Miles J. Harvey, who was going to be a total star, was like the last kid we saw, and they were like, that's the kid.
Oh.
It was just a great feeling of you watch for weeks and then you're like, that's the kid.
You just know it.
Yeah.
I remember listening to you talk about how you started your performing career at 16. So when you were the 15-year-old, were you already like prepared for working professionally from 15 to 16? Was that a big change?
The best thing that happened to me was that I didn't hit it big I started acting when I was 15, and the best thing that happened to me was that I didn't succeed. I was like, I wasn't comfortable in my own skin yet, and I was awkward, and I was finding my footing, and I did some commercials, and I did little bit parts on shows, but it was really just sort of I wanted to be around older people and be treated like an adult, and show business kind of gave that to me. And I learned how to run a good set from being, I've been on set since I was 15, and so I learned how to treat 15-year-olds on set. And yeah, so it's been like I'm from a town up north from the city, and just like a regular town, and so I started going down to the city and working on these amazing sets, and it definitely gave me the bug.
Upstate, or where did you grow up?
I grew up in the border of Putnam in Westchester. Yeah.
So how old were you when you could take the subway by yourself?
13.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents were super supportive of me finding my own way, and for some reason they trusted me. I had like a giant Nokia cell phone. It was like this big.
You had a cell phone as a teenager?
Well, they were like, "You're going to the city by yourself. Here's a cell phone," and it was like this. So I'd be like in Times Square, like, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I'm in Times Square."
Yeah, we always talk about like the trust that parents had for us when we just like, hey, I'm out, I'm going to play somewhere with my friends, and then they're like, okay, come back for dinner. Without a cell phone, like they just trusted us when we were even like younger.
Yeah, I don't know why that's changed. People do say that a lot, but bad things have always been happening, and I don't know why culturally we
exactly. I think
more scared.
I really think it's not more scarier like now, because people, it depends on what you focus on. If you watch the news every day,
right,
then it is scary.
Yeah, maybe it's cable news. Maybe we can blame it on cable news.
I don't have a TV.
No, but people around you do, and they instill the fear in you.
Yeah, I know it happens.
Yeah.
So you pretty much live outside of your comfort zone. Would you say that?
I try to. I think that if you're not trying things that might not work, or you have some resistance to, you're probably not doing anything, worthwhile. If you're being safe, you're going to produce safe work. So I actively try to push myself outside my comfort zone. For example, I was just in Los Angeles, and I have plenty of friends that have places for me to stay, but I was like, no, I'm going to stay in an RV in Venice with like a bunch of, like an Airbnb with a bunch of young people, because I was like, I never did the hostel thing when I was growing up, and I was like, yeah, I think I need to be outside of my comfort zone a little bit. So
how did it go?
It was horrible, but I was outside my comfort zone.
like
and
it's a great college age.
Yeah, I was sharing an RV with two people I had met for like 5 minutes, and every time I was in bed, and every time someone stepped into the RV, like the bed would like shift. It was not a good night's sleep. But
how did you find it? That's B&B?
Airbnb.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm sure it'll end up in a script at some point. You know what I mean? Like those, if you're telling stories, like you have to live those stories first.
Yeah. My B&B experience is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, if you're by yourself, they're gonna be,
Even one time in London, sharing a place with a couple, we all lived there.
Oh, really?
We just like see each other in the kitchen, like, hey, you making breakfast? Like,
nice.
They were like, I was surprised they were so trusting, and they share the living space with like strangers like all the time.
Yeah, well, that's the cool thing about those apps, is that they attract people that want, are open to the same kind of experience.
Yeah.
So they self-select for those kinds of people.
That is true. If you go to like a 5-star hotel and you pay.
Yeah, if you don't want to talk to people, you don't go on Airbnb and
true.
choose a shared apartment.
Yeah, and I realized a lot of new apps, like even Lyft or Uber, and there's a new app for unlimited coffee. Have you heard?
Yes.
and then you basically pay the monthly fee, and
Right.
you tell them like, I want a cup of coffee a day, and you just go to new places to try it out. And my favorite class pass with all the fitness classes, you just drop in. I think we're in like a transition. You're like you're a big expert in like social media. You think that we're going through this transition into a new phase of how to market your business, how to make it work
Yes, for sure.
with a lot of trust and unknown.
Yeah, well, the challenge I see is with these amazing apps that bring us what we want at a price that we can't believe, is that it trains us to not understand the true price of things. So Uber is now cheaper than taxis, but that's because they're able to eat the costs, and a lot of these services come out of the market with like amazing rates, and like they're not making any money, and they eventually have to raise the prices. So, and then with content, people are getting used to buying. I don't think it's a good thing that people are buying in bundles. So like, we'll pay Netflix $8 a month for like on a huge unlimited catalog, but that makes it harder for me to make a movie and have someone pay $9.99 on iTunes for it. So it definitely lowers it changes our relationship to buying and supporting things that we love. So we want unlimited, but in getting unlimited, we lose our relationship with individual artists and individual companies, and I don't know if it's for the better.
Do you like Patreon, where artists get funded every month to create new projects?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. It's a contract. Like, I need this. This is what I need to not be doing other things every month, and I promise, in taking your money, I promise to deliver. I think that's a great model. But there are, not everyone. There's only a certain kind of person in the world that would go on Patreon and back somebody. Most people are like, is it going to be on YouTube? Because I'll just watch it there.
Yeah, but even when the
show.
projects are, some people still want to support, but it's a specific type of people.
Very too small. I think that's why Kickstarter's been so effective. Especially with independent films, it's because they need that direct support, and they need those, and then those people that support your campaign hopefully become people that spread the word. So around any creative project, you really need to build that base, and sometimes that relationship of like, we have given you money for this is crucial.
So Jeremy, I have to ask you to do some voices for me on New Year Reel.
Oh man, I could do a couple voices.
I love the Genie episode on Sesame Street.
You did your research.
You were gone again, and can you sustain that voice for a while? Answer in that voice.
Oh yeah, so I did this. I've been doing this character on Sesame Street for a couple of years, named Gonnigan. He's like a shy little fairy. He talks like this, which is not how I normally talk, obviously. It's hard. It was like I had to actually go to a coach to learn how to do it more sustainably, because you audition for the role and you do the voice, and then you go, oh, I have to do this for like hours at a time, and you can't like drop it at all. So it was a process, but there's like there's things to do to make sure that you're taking care of your voice while still doing something so high.
Can you give us one tip?
You still have to support the breath. Like, you still have to be connected to your breath, even though you're sort of constricting your neck a little bit, your throat.
Breath support. But I tend to, even when I'm singing, I don't think about it. I feel like when you think about it, it gets too technical.
Whoa, that's what you have to think about when you're practicing, and then
when you're practicing,
once you're in
so
there,
now it's like
let go of it.
Nature.
Yeah.
And then the contrasting voices, like the MTV voice.
Yeah.
How did you get that powerful?
Well, thank you. I don't know. I think that what I love about voiceovers is that when it's just you and the microphone alone, you sort of have permission to access all different things inside of you in a way that, like, if I'm on camera, like, there are only this many things I can play, but as a voice actor, I could play this many things. There's no, like, as long as the voice works, that's it. So it's almost more democratic.
Give us a
Oh yeah, so MTV is just like I did a show called Guy Code, which is about how to be a man. And so yeah, like I have like.
So the whole narration, like the whole time, you have to. That wasn't. How long was the show?
How long is the show? It's a half-an-hour show.
And how many? How often do you go into tape?
We usually do them in over a couple of weeks. So every season has been a couple of weeks at a time.
So you just who do you think about when you do?
I think about for that voice in particular, like it's sort of like he's kind of it's kind of an asshole, but like a charming asshole. I'm gonna let a curse that I just ruined this interview.
Curse all the time.
So I just think of people that I know that like you hate, but like you still can't hold a grudge against. Like they're kind of a jerk, but like they're still smiling.
I feel like when we hear on TV, we just assume it's from someone that's always like that. They're not exaggerating. They are like that in real life.
Not true. Magic.
And what other voices do you do? Or have you done?
Yeah, some of the voice of a couple of different TV networks. I've done commercials for every cell phone and fast food and anything electronics. And I've been hold buttons for telephones companies and
I've done that too.
Yeah, what else have I done? I've been doing it since I was 15, so everything under the sun.
So you are basically the person to go to when someone needs a job. Whether it's in person asking you or on your website, you actually created a website that works.
Yeah.
Like that send people to odd jobs links, and it's worldwide.
It's U.S. only.
U.S.
Yeah.
only.
So I have this website called oddjobnation.com, and it's a water cooler for the underemployed. So there's fun content. There are job boards for every city. There's advice. It was started during the recession. A bunch of my friends had lost their jobs, and I've never had a real job, so they were like, "How do you do it, man? Like, you seem to be making it work, with weird things." And so I started helping them, and I wrote this comedy about two guys doing odd jobs, and then around the show, I built this website where people could actually post odd jobs, and it all just took off. On day 2, CNN found it, and then from there, it was just like rolled down the hill, and now today, every day people go on there and find and post jobs, and it's cool to help bring people together.
I love that you had this resume shirt. So mainly for actors, right?
No, really just for everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. So along with that company, I also made a company called Resume Shirts, which is no longer in existence, but it was a company that would print your resume on a T-shirt. Pretty straightforward name. And
was there any interesting stories with people wearing the
yeah.
shirts?
So 2 people confirmed that they got jobs off of the shirt. What was cool about it was like it was obviously gimmicky, but it was like a conversation starter. So like if you're wearing, it's
on the front or back?
It was on the back. Oh, sorry, it was on the front, and on the back said tap shoulder for contact information.
So like people just like staring.
Yeah, so if you were looking for a job, it's hard to go around to all people and be like, "Hey man, I'm looking for a job," but like you wear a shirt again and they ask you about it, and then you're talking about it, and it's fun as opposed to like, "Please give me a job, please give me a job." So yeah, and then someone ran the New York City Marathon in their shirt, and they didn't get a job, but they got someone wrote an article about them.
Whoa, wearing that shirt. Mm-hmm. Wow, this is so fun. My oddest job would be going out to the city from door to door to put out a carpet for Tyra Banks for her show. In the middle of the night, like at 3 a.m., we're like putting the carpet out so that in the morning when they go back to the business, they're like, "Wait a minute."
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And creepy.
I know. It was so like crazy at night.
You just snuck into buildings and put carpets down?
I think right outside, so we don't have to like go in, but like all the businesses. But I think that a lot of us I don't think we are unemployed when we don't have an employer. A lot of people are freelancing. A lot of people are entrepreneurial. They just start their own thing and be their own boss.
Well, that's, that really does seem to be the future of jobs. People want, just like we want to watch our content on demand, I think we want to work on demand. And people want to have their time back. And so, and that is cool if you're making enough money when you are working, but that's not always the case at first. So New York City really is a city for odd jobs, and for making money in weird ways while you're going after your passion.
Mm-hmm. I always say, do what you love and find a way to pay yourself. You don't have to, they don't have to be the same thing, or they can be the same thing.
Or there was that great Onion article that was like, find what you love and do it on nights and weekends for the rest of your life.
I haven't read that.
Yeah.
I also want to talk to you about the Talk Shop.
Mm-hmm.
The Talk Shop is like a pop-up shop, literally a shop in the city. Where was it?
Times Square.
Times Square. So that's where everyone is. And the locals, the tourists. Tell us about the concept and how it went.
I've just like, it came from feeling like New York City is an isolated city. I think people want to talk. People, just like in the Blackout, it gave people permission to talk to their neighbors. I think we want that permission. And so a lot of my work explores that in some way. And bars aren't built for that. Bars aren't built for conversation. Bars are built for drinking.
What?
Yeah, exactly. You can't be charming when you're talking like this.
You heard your voice too.
Yeah, so I want. So the thesis was like, if there was a place for conversation, would people come? And the answer was yes. So I got this grant to take over this storefront, and people like literally just walked in off the street to talk.
On the outside, it says
there was
the
like
Talk Shop.
Yeah, there was like there was like promise of free cupcakes, and people came in, and people heard. Once there was some news coverage of it, people sought it out. And I was there for 8 hours a day just talking to people in a circle, and people would come in and out, and I would invite people to hang out there with me that I thought were interesting and good conversation catalysts. And it was just like a amazing thing that I would love for there to be a permanent one at some point.
Wow, it will be.
I hope so.
Like, did you ask them specific questions?
We had a spinning wheel of questions that could be asked if conversation hit a lull. So I think that's what happens in conversation. When you go to a party and you're talking to someone and you're like, well, we've finished the end of this conversation. Like, there's nothing else to talk about. But what you really just need is like a something out there to talk about. So it was like, all right, there's a lull in conversation. Let's look at the wheel. And then that would give you another 40 minutes of conversation. So it was sort of used as to help get to a better place.
What were the fun questions? Did they get very personal?
No, I think they were like sort of disguised as fun with the intention of getting you to be real. So one of them was like, what's not on your bucket list? And, so, and that gets you talking about what you are like vehemently against, which might lead to what you are vehemently for.
Yeah. That is fun. I never thought about what's not on the bucket list.
What's not on your bucket list?
Cocaine.
There you go. Why not?
Now that I have to rethink it. So, I also want to ask you, what kind of childhood did you have? Like, I knew that your parents are psychologists, therapists and psychologists. Mm-hmm. And do you have siblings?
Just me.
Just
so
you.
I'm like the most evolved person ever to be created. Not true.
Who did you play with?
The voices in my head.
You're watching Sesame Street thinking,
exactly.
I'll be on there.
Yeah, precisely. So what's the question? The question is, who did I talk to?
Yeah, like what were your favorite toys or games?
I loved reading. When the internet came, I was in 6th grade, and I was like, it was the first time I connected with people that were interested in the same things as me. I played video games. I was a big like Super Mario Brothers dude. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I found theater early, so I was doing plays starting when I was 11.
Oh, 11.
Yeah.
That's so young.
I guess so. No, it's cool. I mean, I had parents that encouraged me to. They didn't have an agenda for what kind of, a lot of parents. Some parents are like, my kid's gonna play sports, or like my kid's gonna do theater, and they were just like, they let me do both. I played soccer, and then I'd go to, play practice, and that was cool.
So you got a lot of freedom.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
We welcome shout outs for parents.
Shout out to Mom and Dad, yo. I had a lot of freedom.
Who are your best friends? Now or when you were younger?
I don't know. I don't know if I believe in the concept of best friends. I believe in the concept of like soul friends. Like best is like hierarchical in some way.
Right.
And what I'm really looking for, and what I think you're really asking, is like, who are the people that really know who you are? Mm-hmm. And so I'd say I've got a good roster of people. I could shout them out too, but in New York, friends are always changing. Like people, when people get married and then have kids, like they were your best friend and now they're not available. So New York is very fluid in that way, and you're constantly reinventing your soul friends or best friends.
Mm-hmm. And can you work with your friends?
Yes, you can. It's been hard. You have to have the same level of emotional intelligence and the same level of ability to like sit in the muck of like speaking the truth. When you don't want to hurt their feelings, or you're afraid that you're going to lose them as a friend, that's toxic to a creative environment.
But that didn't happen to you.
It's happened to me before. I've had challenges working with friends in the past.
So, I have friends that I want to hang out with, but not necessarily work with, and I think that because we are in such a creative environment, you basically make strangers your friends like really fast.
That's true.
With your personality and all the different projects that you're in.
Yeah. It's no accident that once you work on a project with somebody, you often become pals with them, because you just like have this really intense shared experience. And so anytime I get on set or do anything new with someone, like my goal is to get comfortable and get to know them and become buddies with them in whatever way that is possible, just because it makes it more fun, and I think it makes the work better. So I do try to make everyone I'm working with a better friend.
What are your nicknames?
These are interesting questions. My nicknames, people call me Big Red growing up because my last name is Redleaf. I've got my fiance calls me Jeddo. But that's just like a secret, secret one. Now the whole internet knows. Shoot.
Jeremy, there are 3 questions I always ask my guests.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
So question number 1. If you are to Skype, FaceTime, or Google Hangout with the 20-year-old Jeremy, what would you say to him?
Buy Google stock, because Google Hangouts is going to become a thing in a couple of years. No, what I would tell my 20-year-old self is I would just tell him that like everything that you're doing instinctually is there's a reason for this, and it will lead you somewhere. A friend of mine has a theory called my friend of mine has a theory of jobs. Just that whatever you do is all leading towards something that will ultimately use all your skills. And for me, making movies is that, in that, when I was learning to make websites in college and learning how to edit and shoot and whatever and digitally market and now I have this film that's requiring every single thing I was working on when I was 20, and then also just like the scrappiness and the hustle that I had then is totally being activated now with the release of this movie.
And so at 20, you were doing a lot of things, and you didn't ask why. You just learned and you just kept going.
I just had this like naive confidence and adventurous streak of just like, no one was paying attention, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna try stuff. And when people start paying attention, it's really easy to be like, well, okay, this is what I do, and lose that spirit of exploration, and so I try to honor that.
Question number 2. Can you give us New York Realers some tips, hints, inspirations on 4 areas?
Okay.
Health, wealth, love, and happiness.
Sure.
For us to live a good life.
Yeah, sure. So my health tip is that you'll get more of whatever metric you monitor for. So if you're monitoring for sleep, you'll get more sleep. If you're monitoring for calories, you'll eat less calories. But like, what you measure will dictate your success. So just make sure that you're measuring for the right thing. My wealth tip would be, the best thing I did when I was 20 was I set up an ING account, which is now Capital One 360, that would just automatically deduct $50 a week from my savings account into another account. And so I never really missed it. I never really thought about it. And now,
Wow.
10 years later, it's a nice little, it's my first savings. And I tricked myself into doing it. And
Who told you about that?
I don't know. I think someone just randomly in passing, and I did it for some reason, and I'm happy I did.
You're disciplined. Because, like, in the 10 years, a lot of people could have been like, okay, now I really need the money.
Right.
Just stop.
Yeah, no, I really tried to almost treat it like like an IRA or something that's just like a safety net. What was the next one? Love?
Yes.
Love. It's it's all about vulnerability and asking for what you need, and I don't know. I mean, it's hard to give a love tip because it's so specific to every person. But for me, I guess my
How did
belief
you
is that
find
people,
love?
I found love on the internet. I think that I see a lot of people who are scared to really ask for what they need. And so I think that developing that skill will make you a better lover.
Is it because they are worried that they will be judged? Or they want to seem cool
What do you
and
think?
vulnerable?
Yeah, what is it for you? I think it's different for every person, but yeah, there's definitely a fear of being alone, or a fear of being rejected. Yeah, what if you ask for something and the person doesn't give it to you? What do you do then? That's okay too. And then the last one was
Happiness.
happiness. The best thing I do for myself lately is just to say that the first hour of the day and the last hour of the day for me. I don't get up and start responding to email right away. The first hour is for me, and I'd love to make that the second hour, and ultimately the whole day. But
What do you do?
but
In that
2 hours.
hour?
I mean, I just sort of like take care of myself and journal or explore something new, or read or stretch, whatever I need to do to check in with myself. It's so easy, it's so easy to take care of other people, respond to other people, and forget about yourself. And I think, if you don't if I don't fill up my own cup, I can't fill up anyone else's cup. So I really for me, happiness is about making sure that I'm good, not sacrificing myself for the pursuit of other things.
I think the first hour would be easier than the last, because you never want to turn it off. You think that you're going to go to bed like at 3.
Right. You can extend the last hour. First hour is harder because it's like, but the first hour of the day is when you have the most energy and when you're the most awake, and so like, why not try the thing that's the hardest?
Oh, I actually think that it's easier in the morning if I
really?
just don't look at my phone. But at night, I don't know what time I'm going to bed, so the last
Got it.
hour
Well,
keep getting pushed.
maybe that's the thing to start with, is to decide when you're going to bed, young lady. Yeah, I mean, you have to be there's no it's such a weird thing when you have to start to be your own parent and decide who you want to be and how strict of a parent you want to be to yourself, and the kind of parent you are is definitely related to your happiness.
I like that. It's like echoing what you said about being the director, and you have to play the parenting role.
Right. Sometimes
for
you have to be the motivator. Sometimes you have to be the elder. Yeah, it's true. Direct the movie of your life.
Say that again.
Direct the movie of your... No, now it sounds cheesy.
I love it. Well, insert another little question. How does a work week look like for you if you have so many things going on, projects and jobs, and you do yoga? Like, how do you schedule your day, week?
I make big user of technological tools to make it easier. So I've got I'm all about the Google Calendar and the Evernote and the and I have a virtual assistant and I try to decide only have meetings on certain days and there's this concept that Paul Graham put forth, which is like people are either on maker schedules or manager schedules, and you get into trouble when you try to be a maker and a manager in the same day. So I try to make my maker days my manager days.
I don't have a manager day. Like, great.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Last question for you. What is your absolute most favorite memory of New York City?
My favorite memories of New York are those moments when New York is given permission to be like cooler with each other, or like we have this shared experience of something. It happened during the blackout. It happens during snowstorms sometimes, or just like when something happens in public and you all just like share that laugh. So the one that comes to mind is a buddy of mine's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend hired a marching band for his birthday. So we were at a bar. That marching band came up to the outside of the bar, started playing. Sheila was like, "This is for you," and then we all followed him out, and they marched us to another bar that had a stage, and they got up on stage and then played a set. And but as we marched through the streets of the Lower East Side, everyone was like, "What the hell is happening? This is amazing."
Did people follow you guys too?
No, I don't know if anyone came onto the bandwagon, but it was just it was cool because it was his best birthday. It had that New York thing, and it was just only in New York could you hire a marching band that would be down to do this, and to find a bar that would be down to let them play on the stage. And
so they actually book a set were there other people that go to see that set, or it was just
no,
you
it was
guys?
just for us. Yeah. And whoever was in that bar.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Hard to top that.
What's your favorite New York memory?
Related to what you said, there's a spot on Essex Street, Delancey, where the F train and the M train is. Sometimes I have to take the J train into the city, and then I have to wait between the two platforms, because we can take the M or F uptown. And New Yorkers that just don't know each other will line up, and we all work together. So on a daily basis, I'm sure some of them recognize one another. They'll be like, the first person will be like, "The F is coming, come down, the M people." And then, or the M is coming, and they'll be like waving, so that we will go. But that happens organically, and when you're in a rush, that's really helpful. So when you mentioned that, I remember that I really love that part of the day.
Yeah, that shared experience with strangers.
Yeah, we should
Cool.
We should do more of that. I always say, in a subway car, if you talk to people, you find all the things you need. They'll be like a lawyer, a doctor, a student that questions someone like, "I have this free bikes, who wants it?"
They should do a startup on the subway thing where you just you sit in the car and you figure out subway networking.
Yeah, we gotta come up with a cool name.
All right, we'll talk after the interview.
Okay. Thank you so much for being on Neo Reel.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I can't wait to watch a new film.
Yeah, and if you're not in one of the cities that has in theaters, it'll be on all the digital platforms starting in July, or at thirdstreetblackout.com.
You're looking for a higher love inside of me. The world